Live your passion.
You can be anything you want. You can achieve it if you just believe. Take you to a place you can be yourself. Live your passion. Live your passion.
Leather workers are skilled craftspeople who design, manipulate and custom animal hides in producing and repairing consumer goods like handbags, wallets, luggage, shoes, belts and saddles. They obtain raw leather, create patterns and designs and manufacture items which they take to market. Introducing self-employed leather worker Ivor Beukes and his company Angelic Pyro Creations. A proud product of St. Joseph's Primary and Dr. Lemmer Secondary at Rehoboth in Hartup, technically inclined Ivor Beukes grew up a shy introvert. Drawing is what he excelled in from an early age.
Basically, when I was a youngster, I was an introvert, and my talent was basically drawing and stuff like that. That gave me a sense of confidence. To boost my confidence, I use drawing to boost my confidence, and nowadays I can do anything. Pyrography, draw, my upholstery, and that just gave me the confidence to pursue my dreams and to make a success of what I'm busy with at the moment. Especially in high school, I started to hone my skills in drawing, and once I got that skill, I just loved to capture images while I was drawing it. And that's basically why I started doing drawing it in the first place, because the love of capturing an image, but I had to draw it. I didn't like taking photos or stuff like that. I had to draw it, especially when it intrigued me.
Ivor's willingness to get his hands dirty made him spend a lot of time in his grandmother's upholstery and tailoring workshop.
Back in the day, my grandma used to, she was also an entrepreneur. She did wedding dresses, baking wedding cakes, and she was a tailor as well, and she did upholstery as well. And that's where I got my interest in. I was helping her doing the stripping and doing the templates, and she just sewed it together, and I helped her again to reupholster the furniture that she had, or the client products that she had.
Although his drawing made him consider becoming an architect, circumstances did not allow for Ivor to pursue his dream, and he eventually ended up at local English daily, The Namibian, where he worked as a graphic designer for 12 years. During this time, Ivor started producing leather wallets as a hobby, mainly over weekends.
How I started with the leather works is I was in the shop one day and I took out my wallet and my wallet fell apart. I had a piece of leather that I bought and I said to myself, I'm going to use this one day. So I got a design, a template, and I cut it out and finished the leather wallet, and from there the leather works just boomed. Basically self-taught. Most of the tutorials and stuff I got on YouTube, how to start leatherworks and how to do it, how to be creative, and templates and all that I got from the internet. So nobody per se taught me how to do leatherworks. So it's basically self-taught.
The weekend hobby soon started to take over most of Ivor's spare time. He saw the market potential of venturing into other more customized and personalized leather products and saved up to buy his own pyrography machine, which helps in burning images and designs into leather and wood.
My first trip to the Windhoek show, I saw, I think was LYP3. He did pyrography and I think he still does it today. And that interested me, and seeing that the leatherworks or pyrography instruments were very difficult to come by back in the day. And so once I could afford it, I decided, let me buy myself a pyrography machine and see what I can do with it, and if it's possible to do the transition from drawing to pyrography. The first one was a little bit sketchy and rough, but with practice doesn't make perfect. It only makes you persistent and more creative to get new ways how to do stuff. There's endless possibilities of creativity. So once I start with pyrography, or once I sit down and do it, my mind starts to run, and there's endless possibilities of what you can do with pyrography, because I do it on wood and on leather. I first started out on the wood, and then Mr. Frey advised me that I should do the transition to leather, because leather will be easier to do. And once I did that, it was a lot better.
A restructuring in the aftermath of COVID-19 resulted in retrenchments, and Ivor was let go by his employer after years of loyal service. Realizing he had only his hobby to fall back on to make ends meet, Ivor took a leap of faith and established Angelic Pyro Creations. Leather workers possess excellent hand-eye coordination skills. The hand-stitching craft requires of individuals to be both artistic and industrious. Requiring strength and finesse, Ivor's artistic acumen, adaptability, precision and dexterity to work with hand tools makes him a good leather worker.
There's two processes I use. One is hand stitching as well as sewing machine. So sewing machine I do when production is heavy and I have to get the products out. But once the client wants a handmade, fully handmade wallet, then I have to use a punch and a hammer to get the holes for the stitching. That stitches are called leather stitching. So that stitch it's a durable, strong type of stitch. That's why it's called saddle stitch. And the saddle stitch, the leather will go, but the stitch will stay. When I'm busy on the sewing machine, what I have to do is check if the needle is sharp, check if the bobbin has thread in it. The machine must be oiled. I service it say once a month, especially when I have to do a big job. Before I do anything, I first service the machine. So if the machine is serviced, you will get your end result. Quality stitch work, the leather must be perfect, because at the moment I'm busy with the leather couch. I finished the seats and the armrests. I'm still busy with the backrest, and it's a tedious process because leather is expensive and you have to measure 3 times and cut once. So not to waste leather.
Ivor makes it a point to first test his trusted sewing machine before immersing himself in the bigger jobs. Maintenance and upkeep are of utmost importance. Ivor is never too far away from his trusted pyrography machine, which he has saved up for and imported from overseas a few years ago. It serves as an artistic outlet for his urge to draw and be creative.
This machine here, the red one, it's a pyrography machine. Basically what you do is, once it's switched on, you get your power. You can switch the power from what you need, of how much power you need to burn. The hotter it is, the darker it will burn. And the lighter it is, it's for shading, fading and stuff like that. So you'll go on a lower voltage. And then this we call the burn pin. It has interchangeable bits that can change depending on what you burn and what you need it for. Because this one I use mostly for writing. It's basically like a pen. Then I have a few others for shading, getting into difficult areas with sharper points and stuff like that. So this thing, I ordered it from Highway Importers, and they actually imported it for me. And basically that's all my tools I use, of the basic tools I use, and then the sewing machine. Sewing machine is the Adler. It's an old machine, but it works nicely. This I acquired say 2 years ago.
Burnishing is often the final step in the leather craft process. Buffing the leather edges to a slick, glossy finish is not only aesthetic but serves a functional purpose. When you burnish leather, you seal the cut edge. Something, although tedious, Ivor thoroughly enjoys.
After I've stitched the wallet, then I trim off the excess that I don't need, and I just flatten it, just to get the burnisher to burnish and to get a leveled area onto the machine to burnish. And once it's done, it actually looks good. The burnishing process actually take water. You just water the edge a little bit, and then we burnish it by rubbing it. So you create friction to get a smooth surface. The longer you burnish it, the smoother it gets. This is one of my finished products. This one was burnished nicely. This is a lady's purse, black suede. And then these are a few of my wallets I made, men's wallets. And here's a few key holders also.
As an entrepreneur, Ivor appreciates the importance of quality in building his reputation and brand.
It's basically taking a raw product and making a product from it, like for instance the wallets, the handbags, the saddlebags, the leg bags. And once you hand it over to the client and their facial expressions, and they are satisfied with it, that's priceless. The most challenging I find is the leather. Why leather is so expensive. Leather working tools are expensive, leather itself is expensive, but once you get the funds to buy the leather, there's endless possibilities what you can do with it. So it takes, if you have a sheet of leather, take for instance a sheet of leather costs around about $2,500, a proper sheet. What you can make out of it and what you can, your turnover from it can be 10,000, can be 15, depending on what products you make from the leather. So it all depends on persistency, consistency, and quality. One of my biggest clients is NUST, the Namibia University of Technology. I did a portrait for Mr. Chivikwa when he retired, and from there, they usually call me and said they want to do a portrait of someone that is retiring or a birthday gift or stuff like that. And even our local school, Origo Primary.
Ivor is now continuing his grandmother's legacy and is venturing into the upholstery business as well.
My grandmother used to do it, and I was the guy that helped her always with stripping, cutting templates. She sewed. The day when I bought my sewing machine, I didn't even know how to thread the machine. And once again, I turned to YouTube and I sharpened my skills there.
Wife Priscilla and daughter Inora keep Ivor grounded.
Ons het eintlik mekaar op Facebook ontmoet. In persoon het ons in Windhoek geontmoet, want ek het nog meer as 12 jaar gelede het ek in Windhoek gebly. En wat vir my getrek het na hom, toe is die feit dat hy die geduld het, die sagmoedigheid, en die feit dat hy deursettingsvermoë het, niks kan hom agterhou nie. Hy maak plan. Toe COVID net begin, toe was dit soos 'n dit was toe kry hy sy brief, sy retrenchment brief, maar ek het geweet hy het 'n talent. Toe hy gewerk het, het hy deeltyds reeds met sy hande begin werk deur om beurse te verskaf en so of te produseer, het hy met sy hand begin werk. En ek was 100% agter hom. Ek was confident dat hy dit sou maak en ons het mekaar bygestaan. So dit is nie asof ons sleg afgekom het op COVID. Die COVID het ons net 'n nuwe tegniek en 'n nuwe leefstyl kom leer.
Hy het my geleer om 'n beurs te maak, mansentjie.
Ivor Beukes, talented, resilient and determined. His story teaches us not to wait on opportunity, but to create it ourselves. His journey underscores the importance of staying true to our intrinsic passion and that it's never too late to be what you might have been. By following his passion, he has chosen to make the rest of his life the best of his life. This insert is brought to you by the Namibia Training Authority. Visit our website at www.nta.com.na to learn about other technical and vocational career options.